The history of Trunks takes place in an alternate timeline, following the events on Namek. The story begins as we cut to Kid Gohan, rushing somewhere in a panic. At Goku's house, the Z-Fighters are gathered along with Bulma, a baby Trunks crying in his mother's arms. Oolong and Puar notice Gohan approaching their location, but by the time he arrives, it's too late. Chi-Chi breaks the news that Goku has passed away from his radical heart virus, noticed by everyone who can't feel his life energy anymore. Unfortunately, this unhappy occasion was only a foreshadowing of the tragedies yet to come, as 6 months later, a dreadful pair of androids appeared and launched an attack on an island 9 miles west of South City. Coming to the defense of Earth's inhabitants were the Z-Fighters, but they were quickly done away with. Piccolo was the first victim, killed along with Kami and the Dragon Balls. Vegeta was next, along with Yamcha, Tien, and Krillin, all felled by the mysterious androids known as 17 and 18, introducing a new era on Earth, an era of fear and darkness. 13 years later, Pepper City is on the brink of destruction, its citizens recognizing 17 and 18 who have arrived to cause more chaos. With a smile on their faces, the androids give the citizens a 10-second head start, their cruel game meaning nothing as a single blast from them wipes out the majority of the population. Meanwhile at Kame House, Master Roshi, Puar, Oolong, and the Turtle hide in a submarine underwater, Roshi listening in to a news broadcast of the androids destroying Pepper City. Having had enough of their senseless violence, Roshi declares he's going to stop them, though the trio of animals urge him to stay, noting he's the only one among them who can fight. Back in Pepper City, Android 18 is trying on clothes, the store owner fearfully complimenting her as to not be killed. Deciding to spare his life, 18 walks out with the clothes she got for free, telling 17 that the man inside said she had a fabulous figure. 17, without hesitation, destroys the store with the man still inside, killing him to the anger of 18. The two then go on a joyride with a car they stole, 17 joking that he'll get 10 points for every human he smashes into. At the same time in another location, Bulma and a teenage Trunks are driving, the two informed of the tragic events in Pepper City. Trunks tells his mother to stop and go home without him, but Bulma wonders why, looking down and noticing her son gripping his legs in anger. Realizing Trunks intends to fight the androids alone, Bulma advises against it, though Trunks decides to leave anyway, worrying her. Back in Pepper City, Android 17 is chasing humans, running over the lot of them and wrecking more of their home. Android 18 remains on the sidelines, chastising her brother for being so selfish, which prompts him to ditch the car and cause a giant explosion. The two leave as Trunks approaches the city, the half Saiyan glaring at the devastation from above. He lands to find the death of all its citizens, including the children, but notices someone approaching rapidly. That someone is son Gohan, all grown up, adorning his father's gi with a different hairstyle. The two move to a destroyed Capsule Corp later that evening, Trunks shedding tears and questioning if this is the way life is supposed to be. Noting he would rather die fighting than continue sneaking around, he begs Gohan to train him to become strong enough to battle the androids. After a moment of consideration, Gohan likens himself to Trunks when he was younger, agreeing to honor his wishes of training him. Bulma soon arrives home after getting some food, immediately scolding Trunks for his reckless behavior earlier. She then greets Gohan, who responds in kind, quickly putting together that the two must be planning to battle the androids. Later, everyone comes together for dinner, Bulma noting that she hardly sees Gohan anymore and reminisces on their trip to Namek. Gohan and Trunks stuff their faces, reminding Bulma of Goku. Gohan noting that he always dreamed of being as strong as his dad, and that wearing his gi inspires him to keep fighting. Bulma says that Goku would have been proud, but changes the subject, questioning if rumors are true that Gohan's been fighting the androids by himself. Gohan confirms and she tells him to be careful, going on to say that Trunks has suddenly got the urge to battle them as well. The next morning, Gohan and Trunks commence their training, the latter initially struggling to keep up with his teacher. When they take a break, Trunks questions Gohan about Vegeta, Gohan noting that the Saiyan Prince was tough, extremely powerful, arrogant, and very prideful. Noting that this is all his mom says about him as well, Trunks and Gohan prepare to get back to training. Meanwhile at Goku's house, an elder Ox King walks in on Chi-Chi with groceries, informing her that Gohan's alive, but heard a rumor that he's been battling the androids lately. A worried Chi-Chi says that despite her best efforts, she can't talk him out of risking his life, noting that her son is all she's got left after the death of Goku. Later that night, the half Saiyans are still training, Trunks attempting to channel his his anger and become a Super Saiyan. Gohan continues pushing him to unlock his power, but right before it happens, Trunks snaps out of it, though he impresses Gohan. The next day, we cut to an amusement park called Super World, androids 17 and 18 cutting the line to get on a ride first. The conductor, unaware of who they are, tells them to wait their turn and is quickly blown away, along with the parents and children who were in the vicinity. The two enjoy the ride as a manager calls the militia, though unaware they were all killed by the androids not long before they arrived. 17 and 18 continue their time in the park, catching the attention of the remaining citizens who run away in fear. At the same time, Gohan and Trunks are approaching their location. The two land in front of the androids, though neither bothered to remember Gohan's name. 18 suggests they finish Gohan off this time, and the latter tells Trunks to let him fight alone. 17 rushes in, though Gohan evades. The latter soon met with a ki blast that he dodges. Gohan then powers up and transforms to Super Saiyan, able to go blow for blow with 17 until he's kicked away. 17 maintains a slight advantage on Gohan, the two triggering more destruction that catches 18's attention. Gohan lands a powerful blow to 17 and gains the upper hand, but 18 cuts in and pulls the supposed victory away from him. Rising to his feet, 17 notes that Gohan's gotten better, prompting 18 to suggest they work together to finish him. Trunks notices this from the sidelines as the androids rush in, the two beginning to dominate the Super Saiyan in perfect sync. Trunks rushes in to help, but is immediately blasted away by 18 with ease. The two take their battle to the top of a Ferris wheel, 18 warning Trunks that he'd better leave while he can. Trunks refuses as they just team up to defeat Gohan, rushing in though 18 clearly isn't worried. She lands a heavy blow to Trunks that he responds to in kind, surprising the android as she deals a heavier blow that leaves Trunks dazed. Grabbing him before he falls, 18 assumes victory, though Trunks' insult takes her aback. As she prepares to take his life, Gohan notices from below, stopping his fight with 17 to kick 18 away. A blast from 17 manages to hit Trunks though, and 18 wasn't staggered enough for hers to dissipate. As she launches it at the two, Gohan shields Trunks from it and carries him away, 17 and 18 pursuing him with more devastating blasts. The two continue their assault and destroy more of the park, though they've lost sight of Gohan and an unconscious Trunks. As they look on amongst their destruction, they grow annoyed at Gohan having escaped again. The Half Saiyan is nearby though, able to remain a Super Saiyan as they can't sense his energy. In an attempt to flush him out, they decide to scorch the area, unleashing a blast in tandem to decimate what was left of the amusement park. The dust settles, and the two conclude that Gohan is nowhere to be found, leaving and unknowingly sparing the warrior who's now completely injured in base form, with a scar across his face. Crawling toward Trunks, who's unconscious, it's revealed that Gohan's lost an arm in the explosion, and he goes to eat a Senzu bean. There's only one bean in his possession though, and rather taking it himself, he feeds it to Trunks before passing out from his injuries. Later, Trunks arrives home with Gohan on his back, surprising Bulma, who sees the terrible shape he's in. Hours later, Gohan is seen in a hospital bed, waking up in pain earlier than expected and questions where the androids are. Time passes and the two are back to training, Trunks still attempting to unlock the Super Saiyan transformation. Gohan continues pushing him to let go of his rage, but Trunks still can't get the hang of it. Later, the two discuss Trunks' progress, Gohan saying that for now, they should forget about him going Super Saiyan. He goes on to say that Trunks is capable of unlocking it, but he just needs the right motivation. For him, it was thinking about how the androids killed Piccolo and Krillin, prompting his hurt to turn into rage. Their conversation is interrupted though when an explosion occurs in the distance, both fighters noting that the androids are at it again. Gohan powers up to Super Saiyan and prepares for battle, urging Trunks to stay put no matter what. Trunks refuses to let his master fight alone, but Gohan notes he's more vulnerable when he has to worry about him. Trunks continues to protest due to Gohan's injury, and when the latter realizes there's nothing he can say to change his mind, he agrees to let Trunks come along. It's only until the teen takes his eyes off of his master does Gohan knock him unconscious, apologizing and noting that he wouldn't be able to forgive himself if anything happened to him. Meanwhile in the city, the androids are causing more destruction, 18 noting that all the humans are dead. She however notices a straggler behind her, barely moving, and uses a finger beam to kill him. As 17 notes that he and his sister are tied with their kill count, Gohan rushes in and kicks him into the distance. Emerging from the rubble with tattered clothes, 18 makes fun of 17, who's now clearly annoyed. He welcomes Gohan's presence though, noting that he can be their tiebreaker for most kills. Gohan states that the two know they can't win, that they can't destroy who he really is. He says that even if they manage to destroy him, someone even stronger would emerge and take his place. Declaring that not one death will go unaccounted for, Gohan unleashes his power and prepares for battle. The androids waste no time and charge in, Gohan going on the defensive and taking off into the air. He's pursued but shields himself from the incoming blasts, able to block a punch from 18 but doesn't see 17 coming from behind. He's smashed to the ground but distances himself, unleashing a one-handed Kamehameha that the androids respond to in kind. Though their beam struggle is certainly formidable, Gohan manages to overpower the two, pushing them back and rushing in for a finishing blow. 17's speed catches Gohan off guard, though he distances himself again and gains the upper hand. When the androids rise from the rubble, Gohan powers up again, his energy prompting the sky to grow dark as it serves as lightning for the rain soon to come. With a nod, 17 and 18 decide it's time to end things quickly and work in unison again. This time though, Gohan notices something's changed. The two rush in with the half Saiyan on the defensive, their combo moves proving to overwhelm him a bit. He flies off to gain some distance, but the two are gaining, shooting a ki blast past him to block his vision with the resulting debris. They take the opportunity to ram Gohan into a building where he falls to the ground, ambushed by a barrage of ki attacks that cause him to scream out in agony. The resulting explosion is massive and wakes Trunks soon after, the latter realizing his master went alone and flies in to help. When Trunks arrives, the androids are gone, the only one remaining being Gohan, who lies in a pool of his own blood. Trunks approaches his master with caution, fearing the worst for his friend. When he closes in, he sees that Gohan is dead, battered beyond repair. Mourning his loss, Trunks screams his master's name, losing control at the unfair situation. He grips his hands and draws blood from his anger, fighting through his tears as he remembers the one he cared for. Trunks' anger continues to rise as he's given the motivation Gohan spoke of, triggering his transformation into a Super Saiyan as he bids his friend farewell. 3 years later, Trunks has grown up, bringing supplies to his mother that's working on a time machine. The half Saiyan remains skeptical of the machine's functionality, but Bulma remains hopeful, noting that with this, he could help Goku defeat the androids. Trunks asserts he can defeat them here and now with his Super Saiyan strength, but Bulma argues it's futile, given Gohan was a Super Saiyan as well. Their dispute is interrupted when a news broadcast comes through, informing listeners of the android threat in Bridgetown. Refusing to turn his back on anyone to wait for a time machine, Trunks takes off to help, strapping on his sword and transforming into a Super Saiyan. Meanwhile in Bridgetown, the city is destroyed, Trunks arriving in front of 17 and 18 and threatens to kill them. The two are unbothered by his presence though, 18 wasting no time to send him flying into a building. Trunks regains his composure and uses his burning attack, but it's easily evaded along with his counterattack. He unsheaths his sword and rushes in, cutting off some of 18's hair. She calls for 17, who rushes in, the two androids playing with Trunks and blasting him away. Trunks emerges from their ki blast though and surprises 17, hitting him away along with 18, who tries to get the jump on it. With an opportunity having presented itself, Trunks takes off into the air, unleashing a powerful blast intended to take out the androids together. He clears the area and assumes the threat eliminated, but is soon proved wrong when 17 and 18 emerge. The two make fun of Trunks as he only managed to dirty their clothes, angering the warrior who attempts his blasts again. The smoke clears and the result remains the same, Trunks now aware of the overwhelming threat he faces. 17 goads him to battle, prompting another barrage of blasts. Only this time, Trunks has expended his energy, though he's still able to hold his Super Saiyan state. However, 17 and 18 have disappeared, echoing threats of Trunks' demise through the city ruins. 17 appears from a building moments later, catching Trunks off guard and knocking him into it. He falls right into 18's lap, who kicks him further into the ruins. Now in base form, Trunks attempts to hide, though he's easily discovered by Android 17. He runs away and is toyed with some more, encountering 18, who has no intention of letting him escape. She throws Trunks through the building some more, noting that he must have a vendetta against against them. She says he's no fun and suggests they just kill him and be done with it, and 17 agrees. Now in Super Saiyan again, Trunks is thrown out of the building, the sun setting behind him. 17 volunteers to finish him off and blast him into a nearby pond. He and 18 assume Trunks to be dead, but the warrior emerges from the water. 17 blasts him again, only this time, Trunks somewhat fends off his blast as it dissipates on his damaged body. Lying injured, the androids land in front of him, 18 confirming that he's got to be dead this time. Trunks, however, fights through his pain, questioning why the androids are destroying the Earth. 17 explains that Dr. Gero created them for world domination, but their purpose stems from their hatred for the human race. Trunks rises after hearing such a petty response, using the last bit of his energy to land non-lethal punches to 17's face. He does the same to 18, who stands unbothered, and the two continue to gang up on him. Trunks receives a merciless beating until he loses his power, his head stomped on by 17, who treats him like garbage. As the android prepares to finish Trunks for good, 18 stands in the way, eagerly volunteering to do the job herself. She charges up a powerful ki blast and launches it at Trunks, triggering an even bigger explosion than what was used for Gohan. Days later, Trunks miraculously wakes up next to his mother, apologizing for not listening to her warning. She goes on to say she's just happy he survived, and Trunks declares he's prepared to take a trip in the time machine. Bulma in response says they need to prioritize resting for a few weeks, and afterwards they'll prepare to give Goku the medicine for the heart virus. Hearing Goku's name again, Trunks inquires on the warrior's strength, Bulma noting that it's not just his strength that defines him, but his ability to make any situation feel like it's going to be okay. Trunks grows excited about meeting him along with seeing Gohan and his father, but Bulma tells him to temper his expectations with the latter. Days turn to weeks and the time machine is finally ready. Trunks now healed and adorned with his sword and Capsule Corps outfit. Bulma gives him the antidote for Goku, and the two say their goodbyes as Trunks prepares for departure. The Half Saiyan vanishes and makes his way to the past, introducing one of the greatest Dragon Ball arcs of all time.